In this video, we're going to talk about the one variable statistics menu. One variable statistics calculates a whole lot of summary statistics that we need for our first unit in statistics class. In order to do calculations on data, first we have to get our data in a list, and we did that in our very first video. So if I go stat and then I press enter, I can see that data from the list we put in video 1. If I want to do calculations on this data, I'm going to press stat again, and I'm going to go over to my calc menu. That has a lot of pre-built-in functions that will perform calculations on my data. We're only going to use a handful of these, primarily option 1 and option 4. Option 1 is when we're looking at a single variable. Option 2 is when we're looking at 2 quantitative variables. For now, we're interested in things like the mean and median, quartiles, and standard deviation. So we're going to select option 1, var stats, and it asks us where our data is. Since we only had a list of raw data, the frequency list will be blank. I didn't have a frequency table. And I need to make sure that the list name where my data is where list is. Our data is in list 1, so we're covered. If I had another list name there, recall that to pull up the list name, we press second and then the number of the list. In order to get the calculated values, our summary statistics, we just go down to calculate and press enter. And you'll see a whole lot of data. The very first symbol is our mean. You'll notice it's X bar, it assumes sample data, but the calculation for mean is the same regardless. So the mean of this data set is just a little bit less than 4. We know that this capital sigma here stands for sum, so the second data value is the sum of all of our data. And if I go down a little bit, I see n, which I know is my sample size, 16, and we had 16 data points. If I do 63 divided by 16, I know I should get that sample standard deviation up at the top, because that's how we calculate standard deviation, or means, sorry. The next item, sigma x squared, that's the sum of the squares of the data. The next two values are our standard deviations. Sx is our sample standard deviation. This is the guy that we're pulling off the calculator. We should not be calculating a population value. That sigma x is the population value. And remember, you get two different numbers because we calculate sample and population standard deviation differently. Anytime you're asked to calculate standard deviation, it's going to be Sx. You'll also notice an arrow down at the bottom of your screen. So if I scroll down, after n, I see my min, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and max. That's our 5-number summary that we use for box plots. So anytime we're asked about summary statistics for one variable data, we want var stats, which is under the stat calc menu. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or drop by 111. In the next video, I'm going to show you what to do if your data is already grouped into a frequency table.